I wanted to throw a quick video together that showcases the difference in orchestrating swarms or teams of agents using Claude Code's native Teams functionality that was just added this month to comparing a tool like Gastown orchestrating multiple agents. I was having a hard time finding or getting a flavour for what these tools looked like on the web or on YouTube without having to listen to a whole hour worth of some lad's life story. So here is hopefully 10 minutes or less comparing the two. If there's anything else you're interested in seeing in the world of multi-agent orchestration, let me know. I am open to suggestions. Within Claude Code, it's really easy to swarm multiple agents. There's a flag within their settings, which allows you to enable experimental agent teams, and also the ability to set the team mode to tmux. I'm running in tmux here, so I'm going to launch Claude with dangerously skip permissions enabled, because YOLO. And so I'm going to give Claude a prompt. In that prompt, I'm asking Claude to make use of an agentic team to create the game as quickly as possible, going parallel with work queues where possible. I'm also asking it to use spec-driven development to read the requirements docs in requirements.md, which will help it with its task. And now we see Claude developing the list of tasks that it needs to complete. Now it's figuring out the dependency graph, and so which tasks need to block which, and which tasks can be run in parallel. Now it's beginning working on the backlog, and we can see everything is blocked by task 1, so no parallelism yet. Now that task 1 is complete, Claude Code is spawning a team to work on some things in parallel. We can now see this happening in tmux, where I have multiple agents. I've got a modeler agent, an arena builder agent, and a core orchestration agent as well. On the left, we can see the progress through the tasks. On the right, we see our various agents. They keep on spawning. Now we've got a team lead as well. I can also use tmux to navigate between all of the different windows. I can navigate between these different panes using Command B and the arrow keys. Let's see what the outputs of Claude Code look like. And so I'm going to npm install and npm run dev. Let's see what we get. I assume we're going to want a browser window for 3000. Okay, pretty good. And charge. Oh, the collision detection is really good, except it looks like people are getting stuck in the sky. But look, there's actual collision detection. I don't just run through the unicorns. The other system didn't have this. The Gastown build. Yeah, I'd say this is pretty good. Don't think there's actually a meaningful comparison or anything to be derived from whether one orchestration system versus the other built a better unicorn game. Just fun. Once we've got Gastown installed and all of its dependencies, we can now add a rig. GT rig add keys, let's call it unicorn swarm 0. And I'm going to give it a Git repository. In this case, it's an empty repository, since we're working in the greenfield. Then I can add some crew to my rig. To do that, we run gt crew add unicorn swarm crew. And I need to specify the rig, which is unicorn swarm 0. And last but not least, gt mayor attach attaches the mayor, which is essentially just a Claude Code session where I can instruct and ask questions of Gastown. There we go. Here's what working in parallel looks like in Gastown. I have the mayor open. I'm able to talk to the mayor. I'm able to sling work to the mayor like I did up at the very beginning. I gave it a simple base prompt asking it to design a browser-based game involving unicorns rendered in 3D in the browser. It went ahead and created my team. It created a backlog of tasks here with different phases and dependencies. And I can ask it questions like who's running the merge queue or what's going on with my backlog. I can run the dashboard by running gt dashboard, and that then gives me a web interface. This is actually a pretty user-friendly way, saves you from having to learn the innards of tmux, which is pretty nice. And we can see right now that there are 2 polecats. Those are the actual worker bees doing the work within Claude Code sessions, working away in parallel. And so I can see Looks like this one's actually done, so there's probably a merge going on, but you can see the work that it's submitted, what it's implemented, and actually, if we navigate to the project on GitHub, we'll see a bunch of things getting merged. If we jump back to the dashboard and I leave the individual worker, and now take a look at the refinery, you can see what it's been doing. The refinery is the thing the thing responsible for merging work. And honestly, I'm getting stressed out even looking at what the refinery is doing. It's merging work at such a high degree of parallelism that I can't even imagine a human doing this. But it is somehow able to figure out the context that, oh, well, this line of code was implemented by a previous stub. And actually, in this case, the HUD overlay replaces what it had done. So, okay, the HUD overlay code wins. That's how we merge. The pace with which this is happening is pretty unreal. We can also take a look at the feed view within the terminal, and we can navigate between the different screens using tab and use J and K to scroll. Last event being 1627, a session start. We can see the convoys running and also the different workers up the top. In this case, Furiosa and Nux. We can look at problems as they occur. None so far. And if we're unsure of what to do, we can also ask the mayor, give me a status report, for example. It will go off, examine what the different polecats are doing, how far through the backlog they've gotten, and what work is remaining as well. And now you see it's reverted back with a status update. After 1 minute and 52 seconds, it has given me a status update, 4 of 9 tasks complete. So a pretty powerful system, much more difficult to get used to than using Claude Code Teams, since it involves learning a whole bunch of new primitives. It helps to be a bit of a Tmux power user, although there is also the dashboard. I'm finding myself having to occasionally refresh the dashboard since it loses state. Okay, let's see what Gastown actually created. I'm going to assume we npm run dev. Yep, looks like that's right. Huh. WASD. Whoa, okay. Graphics are pretty decent. How do I restart? Let's just refresh. I keep dying in the first second. That's not great. Oh, I can charge with shift. Okay, that's cool. Attack. All right, this is pretty decent. So that's it. Pretty easy to get started with Claude Code, but a lot harder to figure out what the workers have done once you've quit the session. There's no native persistence of a work log. In Gastown, feels like it's much better built for greater scale of parallelism. The worker's ability to interrogate what the previous worker has done even after the session dies, that persistence is a bit more mature, but a steeper learning curve. Both well worth checking out. If you're looking for some place to get started, I would recommend just enabling the experimental feature in Claude Code and seeing if it can decompose a task and go parallel for you. If there's anything else you'd like to see in this world, by all means, do let me know.